I want to ask Termarr what he thinks of that comp because he couldn't hear that. So Jim Callis, who doesn't like giving comps, Termarr, I've been bothering him to give me a comp on you. And so many people say Robbie Cano, who your swing obviously is one of your favorite players, but this is what Jim Callis dropped on you. You have the plate discipline of Wade Boggs and the plate coverage of Vladimir Guerrero Sr.
That's amazing. I mean,
do you agree with it?
I mean, it would be nice to. Yeah, of course I agree with it. I never got a chance to see those players, but I heard they had great careers and they were great hitters.
All right, so can I give you my comp, which is a current player that I'm sure you know because you're obsessed with baseball like we are.
Yep.
And this guy's a switch hitter. You're not. Jose Ramirez.
Wow, I like that.
He's only on pace to drive in 173 runs.
Hey, he's amazing. I like that. I
want to ask you about Jose Ramirez because I feel like he doesn't get as much love as he deserves. But being the gym rat that you are, the baseball nut, where does he fit with you when you start thinking about Jose Ramirez?
I mean, he's an all-around baseball player. Like, he hits the ball hard, hits the ball far. He gets on base a lot, and he drives and runs. He's a very reliable player, and I like that about him. I like the way he plays the game, and, he plays it with so much ease. You don't see that nowadays with a lot of baseball.
We'll get into you being here at the Combine and your meetings in a second, but since we're talking comps, and Robinson Cano seems to be the one everybody keeps bringing up, I want to show you a little split screen. Here's Cano and here's you. You got a little bit of Robbie in you, don't you? Look at this. Did you study his swing?
I mean, his swing was always sweet when I was watching him, and I always wanted to have a sweet swing. I always wanted to make it look easy, so, I was watching him, and I tried to duplicate it so much, and I wanted to make it my own while doing his swing. So, it's kind of the same, kind of identical, but it's kind of cool.
Now, we're talking so much about your offense. People have not touched on your defense. I thought last summer when I saw you at the All-Star game, I think you played second base in that game or something like that. But I've since watched you play short. And I'm like, goodness gracious, why are they not talking about him at shortstop? Where do you see yourself?
I mean, I see myself at shortstop. I see myself everywhere on the field, honestly. I can play anywhere. But my favorite position is shortstop, just like everybody's favorite position. But it's really cool, But
there's not a weakness. Most people think shortstop, you got to have the arm strength. You got that.
Of course.
Footwork, clearly have that.
Yep.
So you see yourself playing short?
Definitely. I can see myself playing shortstop for a very long time. I feel like I have the confidence in my game, and I feel like I can do it at a high level.
Can I tell you what stands out to me about you? Your instincts. You have, even in the cage, everything about it, your instincts and your feel for the game reminds me of Francisco Lindor. Lindor he breathes baseball. He was born to do it. There are so many kids that are overcoached, and I'm sure you've had a lot of coaching throughout your career, but how did you keep that playfulness that you have? Because your instincts are off the charts.
Honestly, I just try to treat it like a game at the end of the day, but I remember just being a kid and my old coach, Coach Joe Austin, that's RJ's uncle. He used to give me baseball tests, and the baseball tests were you either got 100 or a 0, and you would learn, cutoffs. You would learn a lot about footwork and everything like that, and I feel like that's where I got the instincts of the game, and that's why I learned so much about the game, and I'm so grateful for him for that.
I want to say you're at the top of the leaderboard. You may be the number one guy off the board, yet you came here and you hit. You've been in the meetings. You've been around all these peers of yours. Why are you here?
I love baseball. As soon as I got off the plane, like I told you, I felt the baseball. I felt all the baseball, and I love being around baseball. I love being around good talent. I love being around good competition all the time. So every chance I get to, do that, I'm going to do it, of course.
I just want to thank you
for
being here. When you have the top player in the country show up at an event, he doesn't have to be two, and comes and shows up and shows out, that's big things, and it's big stuff. So I appreciate it for doing that.
It was fun to not just watch you in person for the first time, but to meet you. Like, you are truly what it's about. Passion for the game can take your talents to new heights.
Greg, last thing before we let you go.
Thank you.
I called Termarr, and I said, hey, you coming to the Combine? And they were still, his advisors and everybody was still figuring it out. And I said, no problem, man. If you can't come take BP, don't worry about it. And he was like, what? What?
Here
he is. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Not only did you take BP, but you had Harold yapping about you with Eric Davis and Dante Bichette and David Justice.
Those guys are great.
It was awesome to watch.
That's amazing. I'm thankful for all those guys. Just cheer me on and be in my corner.